Hey everybody, welcome to another exciting, fiery episode of Spicy Gamers. Like with all of our episodes, I always love having exciting guests in exciting times, and thanks to the wonderful event of PAX West, I was able to speak with today's guest, Veronica Christie, or V, is here to have some wonderful hot sauces hurled at you while we chat about video game music and your super exciting event coming up, MAGWest. So, little introduction, of course, for V. V's been working under your recent role, president of the board of directors of MAGFest as of this year. Exciting, congratulations. I think I was there when that announcement happened. Not only that, you're in charge of programming division head for panels, mages, marketplace, and of course booking guest talent, which is very exciting and of course very relevant as a musician yourself. Bass trombonist, you've performed with 7th Street Big Band in San Jose, California, beautiful city, and you've also previously run 2 podcasts. Welcome to Spicy Gamers. We got to come up with this kind of last minute, but at the same time, what I've always said is I like to have guests who have something exciting to share, whether it be from musicians or communities or just people who love games. So it's really timely that we're getting to put this out right before the very exciting MAGWest.
Yes.
So thank you so much for coming on, first and foremost. What's the elevator pitch for MAGWest?
Well, MAGWest is MAGBest.
Oh, that's
the elevator pitch is that, MAGWest is the West Coast event of MAGFest Super. As most folks may know that MAG, which stands for Music and Gaming, it's this Goliath event that happens over in National Harbor in Maryland that features all these wonderful video game bands, and as well as video game adjacent content and creators and even creators, right? So it's held on a yearly basis. It's been around for over, I would say, 20 years, maybe closer to 25 years. Count your numbers, count your years.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been such a wonderful, event with, that kind of brings in a lot of authenticity, community, and, just trying to make a world a better place through video games. So all to say, because Super on the East Coast has expanded and has peaked so heavily, there is a West Coast event now. There's a West Coast adjacent event now, much smaller, a little more grassroots. And we really try our best to really focus our attention on West Coast talent and making sure that we're trying to build an avenue for artists the way that the East Coast has built that avenue. We're trying to, pave the same picture as well as access on the West Coast as well. So we say West Coast is best coast, but we could always dig it out of the Battle of the Bays another day.
Folks who have seen not just Spicy Gamers, but listen to the GameGrooves podcast, they know a lot of different bands and just individual artists who have contributed or composers who've gone to any MAGFest or MAGWest or MAGStock or MAG event knows that it has good times. There's professional elements and exciting things that have grown people's careers, as well as just friendships, and people have gotten to find themselves in these events. I know MAG means a lot to me personally. I've been going since I believe 2015. I drove up from Raleigh with my buddy David Russell, and it's my first fest of any kind, convention of any kind, and I met some of the greatest YouTube folks I had known, and folks who had been lurking in OCR forums, or people who had been playing at MAGFest before and posting little videos, and I was just like, what? People can do this, and of course they can do it together with collaboration. So
yes.
So what would you consider to be your introduction to gaming, and of course by proxy game music?
I remember, going on, I would say, camping trips where my uncle would bring the 64, and we had this beautiful green translucent 64 where we would play Mario Party, and my character was always Yoshi.
Okay.
My sister was always Princess Peach, and my uncle was always Donkey Kong, and so it was just always, we would always play Mario Party, and that's how we were kind of introduced to
Oh, that's so great.
introduced to video games. And so from there, I really loved the 64 series of games. And then I kind of went backwards, right? Where at first there was Mario Party, and then I played Donkey Kong 64, and then I also played Mario 64, and then I went back to the Super Nintendo and played, like that cartridge where it had all of the compilations of the Mario games.
Yeah.
And went through that series and went through that. And then, jumping back forward, I fell in love with the PlayStation, where I then started playing more RPGs like Final Fantasy and fighting games like Tekken. So I was really into all of that. My focus wasn't really on the music at first. I was more so like, entranced and captivated by the storytelling and, how I was able to kind of have a little bit of escapism with like, pretending to be these characters through these like really fun scenarios. Like, how many times can you say that you can like throw around a big bomb off of a platform? But other than that, I would say like that's what kind of got me into video games. And then what I learned is that there was a huge community of people who just liked doing fan fictions and forums and, really hyping it up through their own creativity. And so I used to like read fan fictions as I was a kid, and I used to, draw my own fan art and like, just be really a true fan and as part of the community of like people who were like-minded and really loved these things. It wasn't until I realized that I would say later in high school that people were really starting to doodle with the video game themes, because when you grow up, your parents are always like, oh, no one would make a career out of video game music, right? Like,
of course.
like video games are a waste of time. It's a child's toy. And so I remember like, like us at the piano just kind of playing with the Mario theme and, going from there. I'm sure all of us can relate to being like, oh, like that's kind of like the overworld theme, or like, oh, so that's cute. You can do like the coin, like jump on like the interval jump on the piano. And then with video game music, saw some flyers my second, maybe third year of college where there was a video game concert over in San Pedro Square in San Jose, and it was the Super Soul Bros.
Oh, sure, wow.
I was like, there's a video game band. And I'm just looking around, I'm like, dude, people are doing this? Like, and I felt like, is this legal? like, that's what it felt. I'm like, are you?
I still feel that way.
Because anytime I brought up video games in college, it felt like taboo. It felt like you're not a serious student, like you're not going to graduate, like no one's going to take you seriously. So I kind of kept all of this, authenticity part, or this part of me that I really wanted to keep, outwardly to myself in what was perceived as a professional setting. Right. And so when I went to the Super Soul Bros, this is where I first met, Robbie Benson, and met also other musicians who I've gone to college with in this band, where they were performing. And I was like, wow, not only that they've gotten these themes and made it, where I recognize this theme, I can also dance to it. I'm also very much so enjoying it. And it's very soulful. Like, I mean, super soul. So soul is in the name, but there was a gospel element to it as well. And so I was like, this is so dope. Like, I want more of this. And then from there, I learned about Megaran, where I learned about nerdcore. And I didn't realize that there was rap out there that was, getting all these, like, 8-bit or chiptune beats, and like, there were folks rapping over it.
Like the crossover of conventional music, and games that
Exactly, And so I fell in love with Megaran's album, Black Materia. Because Final Fantasy VII was my as a middle schooler. Learning about capitalism and, and evil corporations trying to like, bring your planet down. And, we all know the story. So, aside from the silver-headed man who stabs the lady at the end. So I listened to that album and I was like obsessed with it, because it's like, wow, this is something that I'm really enjoying, and like it's not even like derogatory. It's just telling the story of the video game that I really enjoy. And so that's how I kind of found myself weaving myself into the video game music community. And from attending a couple of like anime conventions, then learning about, what I'm sure we'll talk more about later, MAGWest, I learned about MAGWest first before even learning about MAGFest. So that's how I kind of got into that.
That's so cool. And I like that, like the order of operations that way is that you were led locally pretty much the whole time, local band, local acts, and then it suits how you kind of came to find all of the game music that now is just like global at this point. Having gotten to attend more of these conventions now, what are some special memories that stand out from MAGWest?
Yeah. So I'll start off with a more selfish memory versus like a direct MAGWest memory.
Sure.
MAGWest actually kicked off my first podcast that I had called Don't Cast and Drive, and that podcast was dedicated into elevating artists near and far who are a little bit more indie. And so I'm a firm believer of like making sure that, you know, I always want to further the stories of people who are doing the work out there to cultivate their artistry. I don't know why I'm saying like that after I had that hot sauce.
Are you feeling the heat?
Yeah.
Is that like,
bit,
okay,
yeah,
good.
It's like,
Good, like that's the fun part.
Suddenly, I am a scholar. But yeah, my point was to like really just like interview folks from different places of the United States. So like when I went to MAGWest, I got to meet folks like Grayson, who previously was known as Maverick and Nightwing, and he is a nerdcore artist from the East Coast. Yeah. And so I got to interview him. I also got met Mark Cooper for the first time, who is now a Power Ranger, by the way.
I'm sorry, what?
He's a Power Ranger, yeah. From when I first met him.
What a story.
Yeah, right? But he's incredible, and he's also a nerdcore artist. He's known for his gimmick is like the Power Glove, and he has like just a wonderful discography, as well as he's a voice actor and someone who also does film scoring as well, and he's a teacher. And so I interviewed him as well, and I also interviewed Sky Blue, all in one weekend. And so it was just really cool for me to just go up to these different artists, no ego tripping whatsoever. And I just said, hey, can I interview for 45 minutes just impromptu? And they were all like, yeah. So it was just really dope to just have the space to like conduct my really scrappy podcast. Like I had like a USB microphone.
Sure.
And also my phone microphone.
just like mentally.
Yeah.
Just like, it's not that far off. It's not. But the spirit that you could just have that, like, you know, because people are more into the giving, they know what it's like to be scrappy and new.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think they appreciate you for it, right? Like,
yeah.
That's so cool.
So I was able to do a new thing for myself because I was like really trying to figure out like, what can I do as an artist to do more for other artists? And that was something that I was really about, because I've always been a helper type of person. I've always wanted to be a supportive person. And so that was kind of like one of my standout memories of being part of the MAGWest community, is just, you know, talking to artists and finding ways to celebrate them while they're performing. Another key memory is, rest his soul, a friend of mine named Ian Roberson used to run these diversity panels to bring attention about making sure that there's representation at these conventions. MAGFest and MAGWest is technically a festival, but sometimes festivals and conventions, especially in this space, kind of get a little blurred lined a bit. But he would talk about like what can we do in this space to making sure that, you know, different types of people can feel like they have a sense of belonging in this space. Because sometimes what we do find in like music spaces, not just in, you know, in the gamer space, but even like in like, you know, sometimes jazz festivals, sometimes education, sometimes just in other, you know, name your space and you'll find it. Sometimes you don't get the right representation in the room. You get basically not enough women, you don't get enough people of color, you don't get enough what is representing the attendee base of the thing that you're trying to throw. And so Ian did a really wonderful job with, like, you know, gathering people's different perspectives, getting them on a panel to talk about their experience about being somebody who has been kind of like the only one in the room and feeling not empowered enough to say something, even though they really had to kind of do their own thing and not try to stir the pot. But Kian was someone who was willing to stir the pot, to bring attention to this. And then since then, I feel like that MAGWest has done a wonderful job with kind of turning over that status quo of like making sure that we have a very wonderfully diverse event, where we have different types of people of, you know, not only just people of color, but like we have like more women like leaders. We also have, you know, people with different body types, and that we're also celebrating people who are like more neurodivergent, you know. So it's just being very mindful and intentional about how to like, you know, walk these spaces and how to show up in these spaces and book in these spaces. He invited me in this panel. I wasn't, I would say, had a lot of status in the video game space, to be clear. I was still performing in a big band. I was very just much so in jazz only. Kian met me and he goes, "Hey, you're a musician. Get on my panel." I'm like, "For what?" I was like, "For what?" Because I didn't feel like I had enough, you know, I didn't feel like
street cred or like
enough street cred in the video game space to be credible on this panel. But he goes, "No, I need your perspective because you've been going to conventions. You have been feeling kind of alone in this space. You told me your story about how, like, you know, people have treated you poorly. Like, you need to talk about it." And I said, "Okay." And I was like in my early 20s. And so he invited me in and I talked on the panels like more than several times. I think maybe 5 times. And it was just very liberating. It was just very liberating that he granted me that access. And so since then, he kind of helped me tap into my own leadership, which kind of paved the way for me to feel more involved and more, you know, feel more okay to say like, okay, I think I'm ready to like help out in this way, which is like helping out in the volunteer role for MAGWest.
Right. It should be scary because it's 70,000 times more spicy than traditional over-the-table hot sauce.
Yeah, it's even like making ghost faces at me.
Oh yeah, it's mocking. It's mocking you. Yeah, this is like when you try hot sauces and you're like, okay, like this is fun. I'm gonna keep this up as a hobby. And then you're like, okay, let me try like the like middle of the road, and you're like, oh, these are hot sauces, not like like sugar sweet sauces, candy sauces. Having been a musician yourself, and of course being in a space where you can help decide which talent gets to perform each year and at each of these events, what kind of advice can you give from those perspectives to the many, many, many musicians who have aspirations to form a band or take their existing act onto a MAGWest-like stage?
Yeah,
You get asked this a lot, I'm sure, from artists, because I know that's a question I always ask.
First of all, yeah, have a solid portfolio, first and foremost. One of those things...
That's why it's fun. Yeah.
Have a solid portfolio. And when I mean...
I'm sorry, you said silent portfolio. I'm just like, it's hot, isn't it?
Silent portfolio.
Yes.
Don't sing. Don't.
If your
don't
act
play
isn't
music.
worth seeing on mute, why bother?
Just don't. No, I think having a solid portfolio is good. And what I mean by that is making sure create like some sort of record of the places that you've performed in, right? So even if it's a small venue with like 1 to 2 people, doesn't matter, jot it down, right? Jot down the date, jot down the time that you performed, record what the audience size is. And I think this is really important because you would see how surprised you are with yourself with like the different audience sizes and the type of audiences that you've performed for yourself, being like, wow, I actually accomplished that. So like keep a running list of that, because there are some applications that will ask you. Like
I can definitely attest to that, yes.
Yeah, there are applications that will definitely ask you. Make sure that you have someone to always take video of what you're doing, right? Even if you don't have all the fancy setup to do like a YouTube video every week, you know, and then it's just being real, right? Like, 'cause some folks are on a budget,
absolutely,
just starting off. Like, make sure you have someone who, if you're out and about, that they're recording what you're doing, keeping your brand relevant, because you as a musician, you're a brand now. Like, not to sound like, you know, I'm the cereal and here's my box and walking around, but like at the same time, like just making sure that you're taking video of what you're doing and, you know, keeping a lot of record on that, whether if you're using Instagram or YouTube or TikTok, just keep it running. And even if it starts to look a little like, you know, disinteresting or a little scrappy, it doesn't matter, because over the years, it's going to get better because you'll start having creative juices on how to refine that. And historically, when booking artists are starting to like, if they actually do their research and see like how much you're doing, they'll see like your growth, right? So they can tell like how much work and integrity that you're putting into your work. The other thing too is, and this is a little bit of like humble pie, is like start supporting other artists who are very adjacent to you, right? I also keep looking at and like I'm seeing spots on your face, Ro.
I was gonna say, like, you want, ideally the format is conversational, but like when it's that spicy, you're just like,
yeah, because it's like hitting the back of my soft palate.
You know what you're looking for? You're looking for like the exit. It's like,
and I also don't like, I think the other part of my brain is like, I don't need someone coming from my neck when it's like, I don't want to do that. No, support the artists that are adjacent to you, right? And what I mean by that is like, just be unconditional. Like, one of the things that I love about talking with Kashana Gray, she is a scholar. She is a indie gamer professor.
Sure.
Game development professor. And one of the best things that she says, she's like, everyone can eat, support each other, right? So if you're new in the space and you're like, why me? No, let me go support these artists, right? So if you see a show, go to the show and support them. Introduce yourself, being like, wow, I really loved what you were doing. If you hear of a jam session, go and jam, right? Like, and I know that's a little bit, I would say, deterring away from the point of getting booked for an event, but I think the more that you integrate yourself more with the artists who get booked for events, and you find ways to jam with them more and get into their discords or get into, just find ways to kind of weave yourself in the same network and learn about the events that they are doing, the more likelihood that they'll start recognizing you as the artist that you're becoming and are. And then also events will start recognizing you as the artist that you are and will seek interest in you. And lastly, I can't stress this enough, most events, as my upper lip is sweating, do have application processes and respect the application processes.
What it's like for being in that room, from, what little I can even ascertain is, again, like, it's probably got to be so difficult because you could be sent thousands of artists, all of which have every right to put on a good show.
Yeah.
So
we just
that's so much pressure.
We just ask you to read and look at the application process, because events like Mag Super, we get a ton of interest and we love it. It's humbling to see that, because it's like, we love to see the interest of people who really love this event. Same thing with West. We have a growing interest for West. Like, we have people emailing us all the time, like, who want to perform and find their foot in. And I think there's no harm in emailing us. And I always encourage it, because it's like, that's your way of trying to introduce yourself. That's a strategy. On board for it, but at the same time, events like ours always have an application process. So it's one of those things to get on their newsletters, pay attention to the social media sites. Extra Lives of Michael, he told me that he has like a project manager tool of like tracking all the like festivals and events. And when those events are happening around the season, he will check back in that season to be like, this is the time to apply for that festival I want to do. And I think that's a really great way to keep track of the events that you want to book for, to look out for their application, to make sure that you turn in their application on time, and to follow up with them when you need to follow up with. It's just really keeping yourself organized, right? So I think that's just a good starting point, because sometimes, like, yes, there are times where folks will reach out to you, and that's like, yes, I made it, I'm getting reached out to, but now that VGM is becoming a little bit more competitive, you gotta find the balance of, am I that person who's really gonna be reached out to, or am I gonna be that person who needs to be the application person? And sometimes you have to really ask yourself that question and be honest with yourself.
That's all like such good information, and honestly, like, it gets discussed so much with musicians now, because I mean, live is attractive, and as you said, it's also happening more, so it feels more feasible. One curiosity, especially coming from my background to getting on stage, was YouTube in my room, and then a lot of streaming shows. Do a lot of applications that you've managed to see have groups that are streaming like shows as their portfolio together? And again, anyone can do that from anywhere now, and that means they could be from any country or any city, any platform, and you can Yeah, it's so cool to see the accessibility just skyrocket that way. So get your applications in, everybody.
Yeah. Really, really important to do that. Yeah, because as much as we trust us, I would say this like really on an honest level, like people who run the events, especially like most events are, I'm doing origami now because I'm trying to focus. A lot of events do really adore the artists that come through. We really do want to see you shine and shine the best possible way. So there is an ethos about it that we want to see you succeed, but also for you to succeed, there also has to be kind of a meeting halfway point between both parties, right? We're trying to humanize you as much as we can, but at the same time, it's like there's so much we can do with over accommodating, right? So there has to be a little bit of structure. But as a new artist, if you're like, I don't know where to start, definitely start by looking at the artists that you see who are getting booked and kind of like, watch how they move, and also find ways to support them and find ways to like, get in their community somehow. It's right now, so
yeah, it's very warm here.
It's like fear factor right now. Like it's not even.
Oh, that's perfect. Do you want to trade, by the way? Like, because that's a lot. And I want you to be able to handle last step. So why don't you take my?
Okay, I've been spared.
This is your one and only sparing. Cheers. Boop.
All right.
Of course. Oh God, this thing is so gross.
You couldn't even finish your question.
Why would I?
How dare you?
I've had this like 7 times. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Why did I start this show? What can you do at MAGWest? The many different ways besides perform on stage. Oh God.
Well, not.
Why'd you pour so much? Why'd you pour so much? I know we were friends.
What can we do? Not eat hot sauce. There's a Taco Bravo truck. No,
Okay.
Sorry. Buzz. There's a Taco Bravo bus. That's the first one.
I gotta move.
Wait, do you need this?
No. Maybe.
Here you go. This is great.
This doesn't happen. I think I'm getting soft.
Oh no.
Oh, it's happening.
I didn't mean to hurt you. I didn't mean to.
So what else can you do at MAGWest?
Wait, hold on.
Oh my God, I heard my teardrop hit the floor, I think.
So there is.
Oh, please answer the question.
Because I can't stop thinking about it. Okay. Let's go.
That wasn't that bad.
There's a pool and there's a pool party. And that's one of the attractive things. Give me a sec.
Sure.
There's a pool and there's a pool party, and we want people to jump into the pool and the pool party to cool themselves off because we don't have that luxury right now in this room.
Just picture diving into a pool right now and your tongue just like falls into the pool and is restored.
And the pool party is great because I see people like Rob from not 8-bit.
Rob Kovacs?
Yeah, Rob Kovacs from
Love that guy.
88-bit.
8-bit piano. 88-bit. He plays
88-bit.
piano.
88-bit.
So good.
Yeah, I don't want him to get mixed up with Ben, who is 8-bit music.
Yes. So many.
I've seen him twerk in a pool before. It's great in Dad's
There's your ticket right there.
But both of them I've seen play at the pool party before. Super Soul Rose always plays. The Rap Nerd always does a DJ set. I've seen lots of DJ sets on that pool party. It's great because it's the most attractive thing at the...
At the hotel? In the venue? How about panels? I'll just like do both sides while I'm done.
Panels. Okay, the Midnight Panel series is great. If you go check out anything in the Midnight District, Midnight Era, there's a Guabs panel led by Robbie Benson. Always worthwhile. You win prizes.
Ooh.
That's the best way I can put it. If you win prizes, they're yours forever. Please don't let them sit in your garage until next year. Because I'm going to throw a little bit at my boy. I love him to death. But he does bring prizes, and he does a wonderful Bob's panel where you play bingo, and there's raffles, and there's chaos. And so I really, it's not going away. But he does a raffle, and and like people win prizes and stuff. And there's wonderful panels where there's educational panels. Dwango, our AC, who is the keeper of Tazbot, who hacks games. I can't even look at you, Ro. I'm not looking at him.
No, I understand. A lot has happened.
We just recently, we're trying to find ways to optimize on more like community engagement with like, we brought in we're going to bring in the library. We're bringing in this, a nonprofit called the Museum of Digital Entertainment to do a bunch of demonstrations from like, they're going to do a workshop on like controller repair. And they also bring in like Rock Band, and then there are other systems and stuff like that. So, and we also have tournaments. We have a craft cove area where people can bring in arts and crafts, and doodle and
awesome.
do all these things. So in case if they're not interested in doing like any of the music component stuff, there's options to participate in the event without doing music. As for music, there's lots of concerts. That's the main thing that most attractive thing that folks like to do at MAGWest is we do have a very solid lineup this year. Our headliners are Master Boot Record, Lotus Juice, Lacey Johnson. We also have Score, who was interviewed on the show.
Yeah, also happy birthday, Lacey, at the time of this shooting.
Yeah, happy birthday, Lacey.
Yeah, we have a lot of GameGrooves presence accidentally at MAGWest this year. It's wonderful to see. And a lot of Persona-heavy cover artists.
Yeah, because our theme is Persona.
Persona!
Yes. So
we don't have the rights to do the mask thing.
Yeah, we don't have the... but it should be really fun because like a lot of the groups that are coming in this year, did I say Lotus Juice already?
Yes.
Yeah, they're all bands who love the Persona series, so they're all tailoring their sets to be Persona specific. So this year is gonna feel really special with the tailoring of the music to fit the theme. So it couldn't have been a better year.
Oh yeah.
Last year felt really good, and this year I think is just gonna take it a whole nother notch up.
I'm excited for that. And again, like folks who have been to MAGWest already, or even have seen like Super having a Metroid theme and inviting a lot of fans of that series, you can see like the passion bleed out into the decor, the color choices, the way the walls are, the signs are for where to go. It's like you get to really transport into the series well. And of course, Persona being like this exciting kind of hybrid, edgy, fun series. I'm excited to see how that can be. I do have a scheduling conflict, by the way, so full disclosure, I'm not able to go to this MAGWest, and that's why I took the bigger one. That's why I took the bigger.
You took the sacrifice. There are multiple ways as a musician that you can participate, just to jam. We have a choir that you can participate and sing in just by jumping in and singing with the choir. We have a coin op. They're called coin op choir. We have a community orchestra led by a virtual video game orchestra. We have jam pods where you can just set up shop and just play whatever.
I love that.
And then we have a jam space where you can come in and jam. And what's great about the event is that it's so inclusive. So people just want you to come and play, even if you're not main staging, like, and you just happen to be around and you just want to like, set up and do your thing. We want you to do that, and you're more than invited to do that.
I love that. Jam Space was probably the first musical thing I got to do at a MAGFest. I had gone in, and with a few friends of mine, we just set up, and this one musician came up to us and said, would it be cool if you guys jam? And I performed some rap. And 9 years later, that guy got to play on main stage with Ian Martyn. That was IQ.
Ah, yes, yes.
The Jam Space, I can't sing enough praises of just the concept. I've played Iron Maiden songs with Jedi Warriors on there, sang Blink-182 with like jokers and stuff. Like, it's just so good a time. Anyone who plays an instrument, or half the time Jam Space has like a couple instruments you can borrow, and it's just a really great time to like get out there.
Yeah.
We have come to the last round and towards the end of our Spicy Gamers time, V. And in basically tradition form, we're gonna have the hottest sauce saved for a lightning round. So I'm gonna put 1 minute on the clock. You can go ahead and like pre-dab as I explain this.
Okay.
I'm gonna put 1 minute on the clock, and you're gonna have a fun little question themed with MAGWest, because MAGWest is just a beautiful, summery location.
Okay.
So I wanted to have, that's more than plenty, because this is like a world record hot sauce.
Oh,
This is
record.
tasty. The bomb is gross, And I find this to actually be like, okay, this is delicious, but also you seem to be trying to set some sort of world record for me.
Trying to kill myself,
in like a copyrighted like pepper. So, well, basically, I'll ask you the question, take a dive, and then you'll name as many locations or names of towns, mountains, lakes, whatever you can from the Zelda franchise in 1 minute after you dab.
Okay.
Good luck. All right, and time.
Okay. Cockerville Village, Hyrule Town, Hyrule Castle, Lake Hylia, Jojo Boo's Tummy,
Jabu's Bizarre Tummy Adventure.
Zora's Domain.
All right.
Lon Lon Ranch.
Ooh, yeah.
It's like that scene from Billy's interview, like I'm a woman. Let's see.
Half a minute down. You try a different game too.
Gerudo Valley.
All right.
Gerudo Valley.
9 seconds. Oh.
Rudo Lake, Rudo Creek.
I think she gets one from Breath of the Wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
Time.
Death Mountain.
Okay, I'll give you that. 11 in 1 minute.
Okay.
Oh wow! Congratulations. So now you have tasted the hottest sauce that I have in my arsenal, let alone hot ones, of course, the last dab. Thank you so much for being on Spicy Gamers and being such a good sport.
That was such weak sauce.
We've never planned this out so quickly too, but oh my gosh. Can you share where folks can find more about you, and of course, where can they learn more about MAGWest or get their badges?
Yeah, absolutely. So to learn more about me, you could always follow me on social media. Can't talk. I am sometimes _V on most social media. You can find me on Twitter or X, whatever you want to name it. To learn more about MAGWest, you can always go to www.magwest.org. You can learn about not just about our event, but our previous guest bookings. You can also see more information about how to buy a badge, and if you're following our social media, which is all MAGWest official on most platforms, you can get discounts on badges as well. If you find us out in the wild at different events, like I know BarCon in the Bay Area will have an event coming up, as well as other events that are helping us promo. Oh God, it's like attacking my throat.
You're in the clear.
We'll have promo codes associated so you can get a further discount on your badge. So please pay attention to everything that's going on as the event is happening in about 3 weeks. So all the information.
From when this airs, probably 2 weeks.
Yeah, in probably 2 weeks. But yeah, of course, if you have any questions for me about the event, you could always email me. I'm veronica@magfest.org. And if there's any questions that you have about board work, you can always email me, that's fine. The event is September 27th through the 29th. It's gonna be held at the DoubleTree by Hilton in San Jose, California, 2050 Gateway Place. It's literally right next to San Jose Airport, so you can shuttle yourself right over.
Awesome. Well, thank you again so much for handling yourself with these incredible hot sauces and talking with me. Thank you everybody for watching. If you enjoyed this Spicy Gamers, of course, check out all the information that we mentioned. It's gonna be in the description. If you're going to MAGWest, you're gonna have a wonderful time. Check out all of the amazing artists, some of our friends from GameGrooves, and of course, stick around for more Spicy Gamers. Let me know if you have any favorite musicians, artists, composers that could be on this next. And until next time, eat responsibly.
Yes, eat responsibly, God.
Live Moss. All right.